The ENDOVAC Effect, Transforming Swine Health with Curtis Stutheit, Director of Swine Business. Welcome to Swine Web and Swine TV.
Thank you, Jim.
You've got some great things happening with ENDOVAC Animal Health in Missouri. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself first, Curtis?
Sure. I grew up in a small livestock farm, southeast Nebraska. Dad had about 50 cows, and by the time I went to college, had 50 sows, which immediately had to be sold. He wasn't getting into the pig business. So graduated from the University of Nebraska with an animal science and ag econ degree, and was the first college grad that Watt Publishing hired to represent Pig American Magazine, Pig International, Industria Porcina. And shortly thereafter, a couple of years, I was hired into the animal health industry, kind of where I've been ever since for the past 40 years. I've spent about half that time managing sales and marketing teams in the distribution side of the business, and the other half working with sales and marketing of vaccines and pharmaceutical products. Somehow I always gravitate back to the swine industry, and happy to be back in the pig business.
So 40 years is a long time, a lot of changes in the industry, Curtis. What's your role at ENDOVAC?
Yes, I was brought on board to help ENDOVAC Animal Health bring the science of ENDOVAC to the swine industry in the North American market.
And how long have you been with ENDOVAC?
I did some behind the scenes consulting and then joined the company in January 2018. So this is my 7th year.
So you've had quite a diverse career in the 40 years. So with ENDOVAC currently, did you always envision what you're doing now, or how did that evolve?
Oh, I'd like to say I'm that person that's mapped out my career, had a grand vision, but I'm not. I've been extremely blessed and to have worked with a lot of great companies, great products, people, and high-performing performance teams. And along the way, and different companies, I've always had somebody step forward and be a fantastic mentor, gracious with their time. And they normally had a pretty big role in directing or pointing me to the next interesting opportunity, if you will.
Who's one of the mentors, Curtis?
Oh, you could call me out. Well, I could start with my first one, Dean Coppernall. Took me under his wing and a fairly high level role as far as responsibilities. There was 3 of us in the U.S. that had responsibility for selling ad space for Pig American Magazine, and obviously out of college, I was the youngest. I think the average age for the entire team internationally and domestic was well into their 40s. So he was forced to be a great mentor.
Now, tell us a little bit about ENDOVAC Animal Health.
Sure, it's exciting science. It's unique, and it was discovered at the University of Missouri back in the early 80s by Dr. Harold Garner and Dr. Ron Sprouse. And Dr. Sprouse, his passion and vision and determination successfully got the company off the ground and gave us a good background to where we are today.
And how long has ENDOVAC been in business?
We had the good fortune last August to celebrate our 40th year, Jim. In our new building, we built in 2020 a state-of-the-art vaccine manufacturing facility. And so it was quite a celebration of 40 years of success.
So 40 years, a new building. Is it a family business, Curtis?
It is. It's currently run by the 2nd generation, Kevin Sprouse, and it's run as a family business too, with high level of integrity and trust and respect for each other.
Now, what products does ENDOVAC offer, and how can those products help producers and veterinarians?
Yeah, our portfolio is currently made up of 4 vaccines, all based on the ENDOVAC science platform. and they were brought to market over these past 40 years in this order: ENDOVAC Equi, ENDOVAC Dairy, ENDOVAC Beef, ENDOVAC-Porci, and they improve herd health in those industries.
So I've seen a lot of challenges in the swine industry. What challenges are you seeing now, Curtis?
Oh boy, we've got 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Um, the press, and we talk a lot about foreign animal diseases, but interestingly enough, Jim, 40 years, 50 years, I don't care what you go back, health remains a big challenge. Dr. Dufresne spoke back in 2003 at a genetics pig health symposium and titled his talk "The Economics of Pig Health Improvement." And his quote right out of the gate was, "Unfortunately, disease challenges remain a major, if not the major, stumbling block on the road to stable and profitable production." And sadly, we're not even going the right direction the last couple years. Sow mortality, wean to finish mortality are both going the wrong direction. They're going up, and that's just not economically sustainable.
So how are producers and veterinarians tackling these challenges? I know you've been at AASB, the different trade shows, Curtis.
Yes, we're a very resilient group, but obviously the statistics say we're not successfully tackling these challenges, as you said. But respectfully for the industry, though, we're trying to do things the right way. We're not trying to control disease, and going back to the Band-Aid of the pre-2016 with feed antibiotics and covering up our issues. We're tackling them with vaccines and technology. And right now, probably one of the major trends is custom vaccines, or better scientific term, autogenous vaccines, that are having mixed results.
How do you see that affecting ENDOVAC?
Well, I see it as a huge opportunity as the industry gains experience and confidence in the two components of ENDOVAC. I think producers and DVMs will see multiple health benefits throughout their production systems with ENDOVAC.
So for the swine market specifically, it's ENDOVAC-Porci, which is the key product. Can you dive into that a little bit deeper, Curtis?
Sure, be happy to. It's the same science as the other successful ENDOVAC vaccines, and I say successful. ENDOVAC dairies had the lion's share of the mastitis market for years now, even competing with three of the bigger pharma companies in the industry. And ENDOVAC beef's been on the fast track of growth, and ENDOVAC-Porci's chasing as we were the last to be marketed. But both components are novel or unique to the industry. Our antigen's a core antigen of a gram-negative bacteria that's common to all gram-negatives. And then the second component, I believe from the beginning of me being introduced to ENDOVAC-Porci, that this immunostimulant we've branded as Immune Plus is going to be a big deal. It enhances the pig's immune system to respond for a stronger response to vaccines and disease challenges. And again, I think this is exciting science, as the feedback coming back from producers and DVMs is it's improving, overall herd health, and in turn that helps with production and profitability.
And you had a lot of good feedback at AASV.
I did. It gets more enjoyable each year to go. There's more DVMs that have used ENDOVAC for some time. There's more that are getting on board. It's fun to hear their initial experiences and evaluations. And for the most part, they're very, very positive, and whether they're using it on the sow farm or in the grow finish pigs. So it's got a good future.
Now, tell me a little bit about your end user or current customer base.
Sure. Me being a sales and marketing guy. I pretty much beat my head against a tough sale of just into the grow finish pig, but we've had some very good mixed practitioners from day one who had experience with ENDOVAC dairy and ENDOVAC beef, who adapted ENDOVAC-Porci and started to evaluate the product with their customers, and opened my mind to not just use in grow finish, where we deal with a lot of gram-negative diseases, but in overall sow health and health in the GDU, and even most recently a study in boar studs that we've improved health and performance. So DVMs and the producers themselves are helping us expand our market as we understand the product and the production systems better, and gain confidence in its science and performance.
Are you working on the study now, or is it available to the public?
We've done a lot of research on the core antigen component of what gram negatives does ENDOVAC control, and all of those studies have been successful. We're probably not going to continue to go down that list, as it's a long list in the pig industry, and the field tells us it works well in gram negatives. One thing the industry doesn't understand as well as we'd like is the value of the immune plus component, and our research probably turned to what can an immunostimulant do for a hog production system.
So what's one piece of advice you would give somebody in the swine industry right now?
My common theme as I visit with producers, if you're not performing above or at industry averages, whether you're talking about the sow farm and pigs per sow per year, or pre-wean survivability, or grow finish metrics, the economics don't work well for you. I believe ENDOVAC-Porci could help most of those operations, and I'd just say to them, check us out and give us a call, and let's see if where we might plug it in, and what the results on your system are.
What's the most important lesson you've learned in your career?
Does it have to be one I've followed really well?
No.
Yeah, being a salesperson, it takes some discipline to talk less, listen more, but age helps with that a bit. But it's you don't learn much while you're talking, to hear yourself talk. So this is a great industry full of extremely intelligent and talented producers and DVMs. So there's always so much more to learn out there. I'd just say listen up and learn.
Listen and learn. That's some good advice. Now let's wrap on, if there's anything else you want to tell our listeners about ENDOVAC Animal Health, ENDOVAC-Porci, or yourself, Curtis.
Well, I'll wrap it all up. I think ENDOVAC Animal Health, like as I said, we're a family company, and it kind of speaks to each one of us as individuals, but we're pretty passionate about helping others succeed. And that attitude's, we've enjoyed 40 years of success helping, the dairy, beef, and swine industry. And we look forward to many more years, working with those industries. And I just personally, on the behalf of ENDOVAC Animal Health, like to thank each and every one of our customers for those opportunities to serve, and we appreciate you, and we thank you.
Well, Curtis Stutheit, thanks for joining us today.
You bet, Jim. Thanks for having me.